Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and patch day is here, 8.1 Tides of Vengeance, and in this video I'm going to be going over the patch notes. Now this is going to be a longer video, but at the same time, I'm going to try not to bog down too much on very specific details and kind of just hit an overview. This is really going to rear its head when I'm talking about class changes. I'm not going to get into each individual class, mostly because I can't claim to be an expert on all the different classes, so I would just be reading what it said and not necessarily knowing what I was talking about on certain specs and classes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here with Tides of Vengeance. I will provide a link. This is just the official Blizzard post for the patch notes, so I'll provide a link to that. So if you want to get more details, you can go and check that out yourself. So first of all, they start off with the war campaign. So the war campaign's continuing. That's the quests that you get from your boat, whether the Honor Bound or the Seventh Legion, depending on your faction. So there'll be new quest lines for that. There's going to be new missions on your war table. So this is good because war tables have not been very great starting out. In Legion, they started out, basically with near the power that they had at the end of the expansion before that and Warlords. So they're really weak right now. The gold rewards are weak. The rewards are just weak, and it's not really something you need to do. The equipment for your followers is hard to obtain and expensive to create yourself. So those are the kind of things that are going to get changed. Your follower will be able to level up to another rank. Your followers, they'll get another equipment slot. I guess there is going to be a little bit more streamlined equipment options as well, and there'll be new missions there. That is something that I like that not necessarily everybody likes. There's also going to be faction assaults. These are basically just adding of world quests without adding any new zones in this patch. They still want to add world quests, and in this, they're going to be framed around faction assault. So Horde attacking Alliance, Alliance attacking Horde, depending on what zone it's in, and there'll be new world quests there to do with that kind of theme around it. I don't think you have to be in PvP or war mode to do these or anything like that. It'll just be framed around the idea of the conflict between Horde and Alliance. There's a new Warfront, Darkshore, so we know what happened in Darkshore, burning of Darnassus and all that. So there, it does not get rid of the old Warfront at all. So now there's two Warfronts both going at the same time. So it's kind of cool. Your faction either controls Arethi Highlands or Darkshore. World quests will now be available in these zones as well, in place of the once per cycle kill quests that were previously there. This is a great change in my opinion. Picking up those quests and doing them is annoying. Having world quests there and just choosing which ones to do, just something about it just seems a little easier. I know it's the same general concept, but I don't know. I just like that better. The Heritage Armor quest lines will be in. That's for the Blood Elves and the Dwarves. Island Expeditions are getting a little bit of a change, not much. They're upping up the amount of Azerite you get per island, at least in the PvP islands specifically. I'm not sure about all of them. I think in the regular ones there's no increase, but what has been decreased is the amount you need to complete your weekly. So normally you'd have to do 5 heroics, and it looks like with the change you'd only have to do 4 heroics because it's 36,000 that you need now, and I believe you get 9,000 per heroic island expedition that you do. So they're also adding a couple more islands to it, and they're changing the way rewards are divvied out as well. I guess it was based, like some of the cosmetic stuff was based upon the stuff that you killed on the island, being what you could get from the drop. I guess it's a little bit. I guess it just now is more tied to the island and not the mobs that you kill, which makes a little bit more sense, I guess. The Island Expedition Weekly World Quest now rewards lucrative new treasure map missions for your followers. This is pretty cool. So you definitely would want to do this. It'll probably be a good way to get gold or gear or etc. I don't know for sure, or maybe a ton of Azerite, but this is definitely something good. Again, I kind of like the followers, so give that some love, and you'll get love from me. Um, Dungeons and raids. You can now speak to Archmage in Dalaran, Timir in Dalaran, Broken Isles to access Legion Raid Finder solo or with a private group. So you can go to Dalaran and you can do Raid Finder solo. The reason people want to do this is for the transmogs. Siege of Rallis and King's Rest are now available on Heroic. So this is same thing that they did for Court of Stars and Archway. Mythic Keystones can no longer be deleted. I actually think I might have deleted one earlier in this, so that makes sense. And they do throw in the new raid and the new PvP season. The Mythic Dungeon season won't start until January 22nd, at least for whatever. If your reset day is on January 22nd, that's the day. If not, it'll be the next reset day. Achievement wise, they've added quite just tweaked again some achievements. The biggest thing I wanted to talk about in this one was progress toward the new 100 Exalted Reputation achievement is now account wide. This helps me a lot. I have like 80 something on one character, and I think I have like 10 on another that I don't have on that character. So between all my characters, we'll see where this divvies out when I log in here. Items and rewards. There's account bound maps put in to get the flight pass. Tortolans now have trinkets they're willing to share if you'll help the baby turtles make it to the water. So people probably are avoiding doing those because it's really annoying. And then the meat wagon's now available if you buy Warcraft 3 Reforged. So you'll be able to use that mount. There's going to be an Azerite gear vendor. Again, I'm not going to get into the total thing about this, but basically, completing Mythic Pluses can give you residue, which you can then turn into good old Thermatorge for Astrine, the same guy that always is there, whether it's on the Broken Isles or he was moved from the Broken Isles over to the spaceship, and he's been everywhere basically. But you'll be able to choose specific pieces from that if you save up enough residue, which a lot of times the raid Azerite is going to be the best, but for raiding. But in other instances, other Azerite could be more beneficial. Your Heart of Azeroth. New Azerite traits are available from gear found in Battle of Darkshore Warfront. There's Ancient's Bulwark, Apothecary's Concoctions, Endless Hunger, Shadow of the Loon. I'm not going to go through all of them. Each specialization has had its Azerite traits replaced with a new one. Details may be found in the class changes section below. And again, I'm not going to go through each individual. I will hover a little bit on Ret since this channel kind of focuses on Ret Paladins specifically. The cost of using the Azerite Reforging service in your faction capital has been reset to the base 5 gold. The cost now decays by 50% every 24 hours, down from 72 hours. So you can reforge a little bit easier. I already kind of mentioned this, but there's new follower equipment for your followers for your missions. There's new heirlooms you'll be able to get. I'm assuming that it looks like they're trinkets. They're trinkets and a cloak, it looks like. And you'll be able to get those from 7th Legion and Honorbound. Paragon reputations are going to be instituted, so I'm going to be doing all my world quests to these. You can get toys and pets and stuff like that, and of course you'll get like a gold reward or resource reward for doing that. World quests and missions now reward more gold. Again, more gold. That'll get me playing more. So I haven't been playing a ton the past month or so besides raiding, because there wasn't much for me to do, frankly. And this will definitely get me back in because those are things I like to do, but I only like to do them if the reward's worth it. There's a new PvP brawl. It involves Nomi, the cook from Legion. Battle pets, no place like Nomergon, so there's a new battle dungeon. If you're not into battle pets, you might not know much about battle dungeons. I don't know a lot about them myself, but you can go to Nomergon and do a battle pet thing there. I'm wondering if a secret thing they found in Legion was actually is tied to this. Actually, I'm interested to see that. There's some things coming with professions. I guess they're going to continue to add more and more stuff to professions here. Basically, just a little bit of quality of life changes to make it a little bit better. Basically, the best one maybe is new Sanguicell recipes for engineering, alchemy, enchanting, and cooking. So that way everyone can do something with Sanguicell. Character appearances. So there's going to be Night Elves who complete the Dark Shore quest line may earn a new custom appearance that may then be selected at barbershops or Azeroth. I think that's something about their eye color, something like that. Fist weapons can now be transmagrified over other types of handed melee weapons and vice versa, so that's kind of cool. Little quality of life stuff to the app, group finder, world and questing. This is a big one. Time to level from 1 to 110 has been reduced by approximately 25% overall, so that's the time. So that's definitely good, and that's on average. So if you're like a hardcore leveler, it's probably more. Legion World Quest for High Mountain, Nightfall, Army of Light, and August and Reach now reward increased reputation. So if you want to go back and if you can unlock your other like High Mountain, the other races, the Nightfall and the Lightforged Draenei, etc. The initial chapters of the war campaign now reward more reputation with 7th Legion, so your alts will, or new characters, but your alts primarily will now be able to get reputation with them quicker. Most world quests are no longer completable in a raid group, and pre-made group finder groups for them will automatically delist upon reaching 5 players. Epic World Boss quests are still raid eligible, so that's a change I don't mind seeing personally. So basically, the big elite quests you could still do in a raid, and they got rid of that because people are geared enough to where you don't need it anyways, and a lot of them are even soloable. User interface changes, some updates to way some things look, some good things. One of them that I liked is Warlock Summon Pending is now showed on the raid frames. I kind of like that. But there's been a lot of changes there. So class changes. So here's one that I will say: area damage abilities such as Chain Lightning, Avenger Shield can now properly destroy totems or explosive orbs in Mythic Keystone dungeons if the player targets them directly. So before, because they didn't want any AOE hitting them, you couldn't even target it with like your Avenger Shield. So now as long as you target that, it'll work correctly. It won't bounce to it on purpose, but if you target it, it'll still hit other stuff. So that's good. Shield users can now block ranged physical attacks. That seems like a no-brainer. They nerfed Troll Berserking a little bit, and they nerfed Blood Elf Arcane Torrent. They're trying to push players towards Alliance a little bit, but in my opinion, fix War Mode and you won't have to worry about it. But that's what they're gonna do. I'm telling you, they'll push it until it gets a little bit more even. But I think they should just fix War Mode, and I've detailed that before on how I think they could do that. Death Knight, again, most of the changes are going to be Azerite changes. There's a few tweaks to each thing, to each spec. Demon Hunter, Azerite changes, again, mostly. Almost all of these are Azerite changes. A big one for Druids: Wild Charge is no longer subject to GCD. That's good. Mastery Starlight for balanced druids now affects Star Surge and Solar Power at full value. It was half value, so that's a little bit of a buff there, I guess. Again, it's going to be mostly Azerite traits. Marksmanship for hunters looks like it's getting a little bit of a redo. So if you're marksmanship and haven't read anything yet, you probably want to look at that because that seems like quite a bit of things there. Looks like Frost for mages has a little bit of a change there, possibly even it looks like all damage is increased, but then some abilities are a little bit nerfed. Monks, again, mostly Azerite. Windwalker you might want to look at. Paladin, this is one I'll kind of hover on because of playing this class myself and focusing on it on this channel. Azerite traits: Divine Revelations now additionally increases Infusion of Light, buff Flashes of Light, so that's good. Apparently something wasn't working. There's a new Azerite trait: Imperial Ward, Lay on Hands grants the target 259 armor for 1 minute. Again, just utility. I don't know. I don't really like that. Empyrean Power replaces Divine Right, a useless talent, Azerite trait. Your attacks have a chance to make your next Divine Storm free and deal extra damage on top of it. So again, that's like an AoE talent that you would take. Probably pair that with Divine Purpose. Glimmer of Light replaces Martyr's Breath. Holy Shock leaves a Glimmer of Light on the target for 30 seconds. When you Holy Shock, all targets with Glimmer of Light are damaged for 421 or healed for 730, depending if you used it offensively or defensively. Looks like the last are for Light's Decree replaces Zealotry. I guess that's for all of them. Spending Holy Power during Avenging Wrath causes you to explode for Holy Light for X amount of damage per Holy Power spent to nearby enemies. Avenging Wrath duration is also increased by 5 seconds for each one of these. Righteous Conviction. Your Light of the Protector heals for more and is always increased by 200% during Avenging Wrath. Specific Holy Paladin spells and visuals have been updated. Protection, Hand of Protection, bonus is now based on your target's missing health. Retribution, these had the most changes, but we'll see, not enough in my opinion. Consecration damage increased to 20%, so if you are standing still completely, which sometimes in a Mythic Plus you might be, Consecration is probably going to be the talent to use in that tier if you are standing still. Fixed a bug that prevented consecutive Divine Purpose procs to compensate. Divine Purpose damage and healing reduced to 20% was 30%. So they are nerfing Divine Purpose, the talent in the bottom tier, but Divine Purpose will be able to proc more Divine Purposes. Which I wish I would have known that was. Maybe I could have looked it up or something, but I've been using that talent without knowing that. Divine Storm damage in general has been increased by 20%. So basically, they don't want single target to be buffed too much. It looks like single target staying even, and AoE is getting buffed. Greater Blessing of King's Absorption is increased, but it can no longer stack, only one per person that will be effective. And Greater Blessing of Wisdom is a little bit of a nerf. It no longer restores health, only mana, and that can also no longer stack. Priest looks like Priest has quite a bit of changes on everything. If you play a Priest, you'll definitely want to look that up, including Azerite. Looks like Shadow has the most changes. Rogues definitely focuses on Azerite there. Shaman, big changes to Elemental. Or by big, I mean a lot of changes to Elemental and Enhancement. If you play either of those, definitely look that up. Warlock, Azerite traits, Demonology. They're always reworking Demonology one day. They will not get it right. Warriors, mostly Azerite. A little bit of protection changes there as well. Player versus player, they're trying to help Alliance a little bit here in Alteric Valley. The Relentless Snow in Alteric Valley has raised the height of Snow North Graveyard, making it more challenging for the Horde to assault. That's good, it definitely. Lokalor, the Ice Lord, and Ivus, the Force Lord, are now eager for immediate battle and no longer linger in the field of strife for 15 minutes after summoned. So maybe we can summon them more, because I'm always down to do that. I always try to summon Ivus by myself. Tons of PvP changes for PvP balancing. You just have to check up based on your class. Tons, it might be a little bit of an overstatement. Some classes basically have none. So yeah, so definitely check that out if you're interested in PvP. So there's nothing here mentioned for Oldir, which I thought maybe they might nerf Oldir, just generally like a 5% nerf all the way around, just to get people to finish it more. Unfortunately, that does not appear to be the case. At least it's not in these patch notes. If this helped you at all, you found it interesting, I don't know how me talking hopefully not too monotonely is interesting, but if you found this helpful, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Looking forward to getting into patch 8.1, and everybody have a good one.